back to my channel. It's Noelle, and as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of Georgia State University. Super excited to do this, as if you didn't know, I just finished my sophomore year at Georgia State. So I spent 2 years there, so I feel like I have a pretty good idea on what's good and what's not at the school. And then I also got some opinions from some of my friends who went there and all that good stuff. So stay tuned if you want to hear about the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't know if you heard that because a truck was passing by, but the good, the bad, and the ugly of Georgia State. So to get the negative stuff out the way, I'm going to be talking about the cons first, just so that we can end the video on a positive note. So one major con of Georgia State that you will hear from a lot of people is about the financial aid office. I've been hearing about complaints about the financial aid office since before I even got to the school, so that just shows you the issues. So people have issues with how they work, people have issues with the people that work there. Some people think that the people that work there are rude. Me personally, I've never had that many bad experiences with financial aid office, but let me tell you that the first few weeks of each semester, financial aid is packed, it's crazy, it's booked. You try and call them, you will be on hold for like an hour or 2 hours hearing the Georgia State band play. Like, they get busy really quickly. Sometimes you'll have to wait for a long time if you try to be in person during the beginning of the semester. And yeah, I've experienced in financial aid. I never thought they were rude, but I've heard other people say that they thought people were rude. And usually my problems have gotten resolved quickly, but again, I don't want to speak on behalf of a big majority of the school who thinks that the financial aid office is a problem. Like, it's just, and they're like hidden. Like, I feel like they don't want to be found because they're in this building called Sparks Hall, and it's like the first time I tried to find them, it was hard to. It was like they don't want to be found, honestly. So I mean, if I worked at financial aid at Georgia State, I wouldn't want to be found either. Georgia State is a big school. I think people tend to forget that. Like, Georgia State is a mad big school. So people may look at this as a con, some people may look at this as a pro. I look at it in both ways. Is all the people at Georgia State, like I was just saying about the financial aid office, there's a lot of people at Georgia State. With all the combined campuses of Georgia State, it equates to about 50-something thousand students, and that is a lot of people. And there's a lot of people on the downtown campus, and you will feel how much people there are when you're doing move-in day, move-out day, the beginning of the semester before people start dropping their classes and stuff. And if there's construction going on, that's for making you guys all go into one area, it's gonna feel even more congested. Like this past year, they knocked down a big area of what's that place called? They knocked down a big area by our library, so when we're walking to class, we all had to walk in a single file line, and it was so crowded. It was really crowded. So that could be a con if you don't like schools with a lot of people, because it's crowded. It's not a small school at all. It's a big school, but then you see a lot of the same people, but then like you don't at the same time. Like, you'll always see people you've never seen before. Okay, another con. This is not really Georgia State's fault. I mean, it's in downtown Atlanta, so it's a city. What do you expect? But the smell of Atlanta sometimes, sometimes it can be a little terrible, to put it frank. Sometimes it can be a little terrible, the smell of Atlanta. And so, you know, there's nothing really you can do to avoid that. When it hits you, and you might just have to hold your breath for a second. It's usually in random areas. It doesn't happen every day, but yeah, sometimes the smell is just really noticeable and all that stuff. So just, you know, but it's city life. That's what happens when you're in the city. If you live in the city, if you go to school in the city, if you're shopping in the city, you might hit a funky smell. Another major con of Georgia State is their lack of housing and dorm space for students is actually ridiculous. There's 5 dorms and 3 are specifically for freshmen. And this past year, they had to start moving freshmen into another dorm because the 3 dorms that are specifically for freshmen were building up. And I'm just like, what? Where's everyone else supposed to live, you know? So I really think Georgia State should make another dorm. I really feel like they should have made the mix into another dorm instead of an apartment. I don't know. I just feel like they should have made it into another dorm, because people really struggle to find housing if you don't sign up for housing quickly. The housing wait list, I've heard, can go into the 400s and 500s, which is so ridiculous that people want to live on campus. They're willing to pay the money to live on campus, and Georgia State cannot provide it for them. I just think that's crazy. I know there's like a lack of space and stuff, but if Georgia State really wanted to do it, they could. Yeah, so hopefully they get that figured out soon, because there was a point in time when Georgia State didn't have any housing at all, or they just had like one dorm. So hopefully they get it figured out. So the library during final season is so crowded. This is probably something at every school, but since I feel like Georgia State is a more congested school, it's more noticeable. And I feel like our library could be bigger. It has 5 floors, and you know, it's big, but I feel like it could definitely be bigger, because people are on the floors during final season. People are everywhere during final season. It is so hard to find a table anywhere in the library before like 7 o'clock during final season. Like it's difficult. And so I feel like maybe if they made more space for people, maybe if they made more available study space for people, that would be better. I don't really know how they would go about that. That's just something I've noticed and I've not really liked in the past 2 years when I would want to study for finals and stuff. So, and a crowded library is annoying, because the whole point is you want to study. So if there's a whole bunch of people in the library and you cannot even study, what are you supposed to do? Also, if you're wondering why it is May and I am wearing this sweater, I woke up today and it was like 48 degrees. Like, I'm so confused. Okay, another major complaint about Georgia State is that all the restaurants around Georgia State close at like 5 or 6 o'clock. like I'm not even exaggerating. The only restaurants that stay open past like 6 are this diner called Landmark Diner that one's 24 hours, and Moe's and Waffle House. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Everything else, Mr. Hibachi closes at 6 or 7. Rosa's Pizza closes at like 5. Mexican place down there closes at like 5. Like, everything closes down early. And it's really hard for a young G. Like, that was one of the worst things when I was first going to Georgia State, figuring out that a lot of the places I wanted to go to weren't even open. There's lots of construction in Atlanta, so it doesn't really bother me that much, but if it bothers you, keep in mind of that. And then a lot of people have issues with the advisement center and the advisors. They feel like advisors kind of crush dreams and kill dreams and tell people to change their majors at the slightest inconvenience and stuff like that. And I've experienced that a little bit, so I can say that you need to find other people that will support you in your dreams too. Do not just turn to these advisors for all help and all glory. They do not know everything. Even though they're an advisor, they do not know everything. Also, another complaint is that Georgia State doesn't have a lot of bus routes, so sometimes you can wait a long time for the buses if you really want to take it. And then sometimes when it's raining or something, the buses are super packed, like you'll be breathing on each other. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Okay, let's get into the positives, because even though Georgia State has negatives, I feel like Georgia State has so many positives, and every school has negatives, so I feel like Georgia State's positives outweighs the negatives. I don't know. That Georgia State is in the city, like it's in Atlanta, like that is lit. That's lit. Like, how many schools are in cities? Not like real cities, like not many, okay? So Georgia State being in a city is so fun. You will experience other things that other college students in regular college towns will not experience. I also feel like Georgia State is a very diverse school, not only with the students, but with the teachers. I've had teachers from all sorts of different countries. My anatomy teacher last year was from like Russia or something like that. My anatomy teacher this year was Indian. Different students from so many different walks of life and background at Georgia State. Georgia State is heavy with the minorities. Don't get me wrong. There's everyone. There's white people there, but they're heavy on the minorities. There's a lot of black students. There's a lot of Asians. There's a lot of Asian students, and there's a good amount of Hispanic students too. So you just get a big mix of everything, which I think is great and appreciated. And some people did not experience that until they came to college, which is cool, you know? Another great thing about Georgia State is that you're super close to MARTA station, so if you ever need to hit up MARTA, Not by yourself, man. But if you ever need to hit up MARTA to go someplace you're close by, it's walking distance. I have never used MARTA in living in Georgia since 2005, and I never used MARTA until I got to Georgia State. So that was a cool experience for me. Another positive about Georgia State is I really like our gym. I feel like our gym caters to a lot of different needs. I feel like our gym is big. We have lots of classes that you can take. There's yoga classes, there's swimming lessons, I've seen belly dancing classes, there's other sorts of dancing classes, there's Zumba, there's just so much. And they have a big basketball court, they have a weight room, they have pool, a sauna. Going there was my first time experiencing a sauna. They have a whirlpool. They just have a lot of stuff at the gym, and I really I love the gym there. I think they put a lot of energy and thought into it, and then a lot of students also get hired at the gym, which is cool too. Another thing about Georgia State is that there's great views, of course, because you're in the city and you're gonna be high up sometimes, so you get some great views of skylights and buildings in the sky and just awesome stuff that you might not experience going to school in a regular college town. Also at Georgia State, I feel like Georgia State tries really hard to incorporate like a lot of cool people at the school. So like I've said in previous videos, Don Lemon's come to my school, John Legend has come to the school, Black has come to the school, just a whole bunch of different people. And so I feel like you have the opportunity to meet cool people, maybe not at the school, but even in other stuff that's going on, because Jennifer Hudson was filming a movie down there. They filmed Stranger Things down there. They filmed parts of Black Panther. Did they really do that? Yeah, parts of Black. I'm gonna check back on that. But they filmed all sorts of stuff there. So you never know when you might run into someone famous. And if it's not at Georgia State, you could go to one of the other schools in the Atlanta area, like the HBCUs, because Michael B. Jordan's went there. Barack Obama's went there. Like, you can find your ways to get in there, you know what I'm saying? The last thing I want to add about the pros of Georgia State is how close you are to so many things. Like I said before, you're close to MARTA, but you're also close to the aquarium, Centennial Park, Martin Luther King Museum, which is free, the Civil Rights Museum, which is free during Black History Month. You're also close to the zoo. You're close to just other cool things in Midtown that you wouldn't experience anywhere else. There's a lot more different types of clubs. There's Broadway shows. You could go to the Foxes there. You could go to the Shakespeare Tavern. There's just like a lot. You can also go to all the malls if you really want to experience Lenox and Phipps and all that stuff. Like, you could go to the malls too. The Coca-Cola factory, okay? Like, there's just a lot of different things you can experience that is nowhere else. So yeah, take advantage. If I had to rate Georgia State on a scale of 1 to 10 with my experiences there for the last 2 years, incorporating living on campus, just everything, I would definitely give it a 8. I really did enjoy my experience at Georgia State. I loved it freshman year. I loved it a little less sophomore year just because my academics were a little harder, but that has nothing to do with the school necessarily. That's just really my major. So yeah, if you have any questions about Georgia State, please let me know. Comment down below. I will gladly answer them. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys will watch my next video. Bye.